The RPS video team were very, very busy at EGX, streaming from the live stage every day. Despite that, we were released from our balls and chains for just long enough to take a look at some of the games that were available to play on the show floor. There were a lot, and it would take a millennia to talk about them all, so here are a few of our highlights. There are great big whales, martial arts messiahs, and god-awful Tinder dates, and we absolutely loved playing every single one of them. Before that though, we've recently partnered up with Displate, an online store specialising in pretty funky metal posters. Matthew, Alice and I have each taken a look at what's on offer and put together our own collections, each of our favourites. And if you buy anything from these collections, a bit of that money comes back to us to continue financing our investigations into Sims 4 content packs and pretentious explorations of hypnagogic RPGs. Check out the link in the description. Röki is enchanting, eerie, and whimsical. Developed by Polygon Treehouse, who were founded by two former art directors at Guerrilla Games, it puts you in the snow boots of a girl lost in a mysterious white-capped woods. You're told by a tree with 1,000 eyes that you might be the one, and you run into a rather pleasant bridge troll with a sword stuck in her back that you help remove by fashioning a grapple out of a bear trap and some rope. It feels very much like what Guillermo del Toro would make were he a game designer. It's haunting yet serene, and the way it portrays often revered and feared mythological creatures, so far anyway, as threatening in appearance yet gentle and kind-hearted in nature, is exactly the sort of subversion of tropes you'd see in the likes of The Shape of Water. It's this loving and non-judgmental relationship with the macabre that makes Roki as charming as it is. The demo at EGX only lasts up until you successfully aid the troll, but even in that short burst of time, Roki really pulled us in, and we can't wait to see where we'll be treading in crunchy snow towards next. Speaking of snow, Tony Slopes features a lot of it. It also features a massive whale. I don't think there's really much that needs to be said about Tony Slopes. I wanted to say something though, because I think it's absolutely outstanding. It's a family production, a sort of snowboarding racer, but instead of snowboards, you're riding an assortment of strange things as a variety of strange characters, the titular of which looks like Charlie out of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The two vehicles I got to race around with was, of course, the giant f***ing whale, which sounds a little bit like a go-kart and flops around as a great big physics object. Your racer grips it by the blowhole, which I'd imagine is a little bit painful, but then again, so would slaloming down a treacherous snowy mountain on your belly. The other vehicle was a bathtub what has rocket boosters attached to the back of it. As well as looking like something out of an episode of Jackass, binned for causing a fatal injury, it also gives you an entirely new perspective in the game. Namely, an entirely new perspective on the f***ing whale as it threateningly looms over you, speeding along like some great calamity, clipping its tail into your eyes and wrecking the other racing competitors by wailing into them. Tony Slopes is horrifying, beautiful, and with more features and game modes planned, it's only going to get better. Christ. I've been on a couple of properly bad dates before. Most of these dates have been orchestrated through Tinder. You can imagine my absolute delight then that there is now a video game that aims to capture the essence of this mortifying experience. Table Manners is, on its surface, a Tinder dating version of Surgeon Simulator. You open the Blunder dating app, swipe left and or right depending on your preference, engage in conversation, which for me largely consisted of sending the same joke to multiple people and getting blocked, and then take them out on a date, proceeding to desperately flail your hand about trying to fill up glasses of wine, light candles, and feed your date a variety of delicious foodstuffs that you definitely haven't dropped on the floor. In a way, I think Table Manners succeeds in its use of ham-fisted silly physics gameplay more so than Surgeon Simulator did. The clunky and clumsy gameplay, rather than just serving as an amusing game version of that bit in the 1997 movie Bean where Mr. Bean performs a slapstick surgical procedure, it very accurately and very painfully feels like how I feel on an awkward and bad date. I overthink everything in trying to make a good impression, and that overthought always leads to catastrophic f**k-ups where I spill a drink, drop a piece of food, accidentally swipe my entire arm across the table and knocking everything over. What I'm trying to say is, Table Manners' gameplay and its narrative intertwine so perfectly together that I don't think one could really work without the other anymore. Likewise, sometimes a game doesn't quite work unless you know about the person making it. Such is the case for Kung Fu Jesus. From Celestial Gold Studios and lead developer Craig Snape, aka Kung Fu Jesus, you play a down-on-his-luck Kung Fu Jesus working for a gang boss as you're whisked away into a world of, quote, organised crime, alternate dimensions, and intense martial arts. Kung Fu Jesus, the game not the man himself, is like Streets of Rage on mescaline. City streets are oozing in hazy, projected neon lighting. The skylight is a visual flood of greens, blues and oranges. The landscape is rocky and littered with craters, making you feel like you're roundhouse-kicking rival gangers on the moon or an alien planet. Kung Fu Jesus, the character in the game, not the man himself, has a mysterious navy blue aura radiating about his head, with red and green trails refracting upwards, as does the boss. There's also some very interesting stuff going on with the audio. There's an absolutely banging acid rock soundtrack, and every character's dialogue is the same clip of reversed Twin Peaksy speech that plays whenever they say something. Unfortunately, I can't grace your ears with this, as the raw, astral energy of Kung Fu Jesus, either the game or the man himself, both equally as likely, was too powerful for the RPS capture device to handle. I don't exactly know what to make of Kung Fu Jesus, the game and the man himself, but I do know that there's something about it that just keeps dragging me back into watching over that footage. Regardless of what I actually think, I'd still very much like to talk at length with Craig Snape about his whole life story, and I look forward to waking up, seeking the truth, and freeing myself from the shackles of everyday reality whenever something new comes around. I also look forward to Welcome to Elk, a story-driven adventure game that takes place on the island of Elk. It's a story about being left behind by the world, told through the eyes of a young carpenter called Frigg. Elk is an island where people find themselves trapped, isolated from the rest of the earth. You play as Frigg and play out her story, but the narrative is told using real, harrowing stories from either those who have experienced them or those who have heard first-hand accounts. The game appears innocent on its surface, but a darkness quickly seeps in as you progress. Even in the short 15-minute demo that was available on the show floor at EGX, it opens with a dream sequence where a faceless friend of yours has died, and the llama captain of the raft you're on leads you into singing a song for his passing. You then wake up to find that friend, who believes he is dead, and help him reconstruct visages of his parents using balloons and real photo cutouts of different facial features. We're only told one real story in the EGX demo of Welcome to Elk, told to us firstly by Beth, a single mother who you meet in the Hermit pub. It's the story about why she and her child, Freddie, eat squirrels. What follows is a harrowing retelling of how Beth's husband, George, is killed by criminals avenging their friend Donnie, who was killed by George in prison. This story is real. After the sequence plays out, you're taken back to the Hermit, where a man sits in a chair. You walk up to him and start a conversation, and the game cuts to a live video of Leigh Grefstrup, brother of the game's director Astrid. Yeah, I know. Who spoke to the real-life version of Beth, telling the story as it happened in real life. Leigh tells a majority of the stories you'll see play out in Welcome to Elk, and they'll all be quite emotionally wrenching. Welcome to Elk is a game that tells the stories of human beings left behind, and those stories can be beautiful and haunting all at once. I've had a chat with Triple Topping, the developers, about one of their previous games, Spitkiss, for the RPS site. They're really passionate about what they do, and it shows in this too. We're really looking forward to seeing more of it. Those were our top picks out of the games we got to play at EGX this year, in amongst all the Microsoft painting and diffusing bombs. There was a lot of really great stuff at the show, and an astonishing amount of variety too. It looks like there's going to be plenty of equal parts hilarity and existential dread in the coming year in games, and I for one cannot wait. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support the channel, please do click the link in the description to check out our Displate store. Displate make these really nice metal posters with a magnetic mounting system that means you don't need to drill into your wall and get noise complaints from your neighbours. There are over 500,000 designs, and we've even gone and picked out each of our favourites to go into little collections on our page on the store. So if you buy any of those ones, then a bit of money will come back to us and keep us plump and fed. You'll also help out the environment a bit because Displate plants 10 trees for every poster sold, so that's nice. These were our top picks from EGX, but if you were there and have a different favourite, let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please do like it and subscribe to Rock Paper Shotgun for more like it. You can also check out our brand new Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines Let's Play in anticipation for the sequel's release next year, and all of the VODs for our EGX live streams while you're at it. Whatever you do, cheers very much for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.